If we can't stop the Houthis, what makes us think that we can take on Iran?
Yeah. Oh, it's a very good point. The Houthi technology is largely derived from Iran. I don't know the extent to which, like, the Iranians are directly supplying them with weapons. What I've heard is that the Iranians showed them how to make these weapons, and the Houthis have actually, have modified them for their own purposes. It's Iranian-based technology, but there is a Houthi input, which I find quite extraordinary. It just shows, again, the poorest country in the Arab world, one of the poorest countries in the world, can actually develop these weapons and threaten the world's most powerful navy, actually render it impotent. The Navy has not been able to carry out its mission of protecting shipping in the Red Sea. They failed. Prosperity Guardian failed. And it failed, and the defeat was, brought about by, these very, very poor people in the hills of Yemen. I mean, it's really amazing.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
just think about the world's most powerful navy in the world is getting thwarted, defeated by a country that doesn't even have a navy. They don't
Yeah.
even have a navy. It's incredible. And
Yeah. Right. So
but
anyway, if you just take Yemen and multiply it by 10,000, and that's Iran. Iran is a large, prosperous country with a lot of, very talented engineers, and they have developed clearly very successful military technologies, and they have been preparing for a conflict with the U.S. for, at least 20, 25 years.
it's unbelievable to think that we might actually get into a war with Iran. It's going to be a huge wake up call for Americans mostly, but a lot of the world. I mean, I think a lot of the world has slowly woken up to the illusion of U.S. military might thanks to the Ukraine conflict, and also to thanks to the Houthis over the past year. But this war is just not going to go the way that the supporters of it think it's going to go. And it's kind of hard for me to understand how they can't see that, because we've had a lot of evidence of just this past year of what our capabilities are, and just this idea that we could take on Iran when they also have a defense contract with Russia,
Right.
and they're very closely allied economically, at least with China. This is absolute insanity. This will, if Trump does that will be his legacy.
Yeah.
That he will completely sink it. And it just, I guess the thing we can say with Trump, I was asking if it was more dangerous under Biden or Trump. I mean, with Trump, the thing is, things move a lot quicker.
Mhm.
So it's just like things can change, and it's hard to know where it's going to go. But the way he's
Yeah.
talking with Iran, if he does this, we're talking about the global economy will crash. The Strait of Hormuz will get shut down, oil disruptions, U.S. aircraft carriers sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Don't play with this, man. This is not. I hope we don't go down this road.
Yeah.
It's so amazing that we're even considering it. It's like, okay, sir, you have two options. One will be endless suffering and pain and death, and the other one is just a nice path full of ice cream and lollipops and sunshine. Which one do you want to take? It seems to be that clear,
Mhm.
these two options on choosing a conflict with Iran, and we're actually thinking, we'll go down the endless suffering
Mhm.
path.
Yeah. Well,
Madness.
yeah, another thing to point out, another consequence of a war with Iran could be re- um, relations between the U.S. and Russia. I mean, it would clearly have severe consequences for that relationship. It would put it under a lot of strain because Russia is not going to abandon its commitment to Iran. And that's going to anger the Americans, especially as they get into a war with them. But it's also going to anger the Russians, seeing their close, not well, an ally of some kind. They don't have a mutual defense pact, but they're, it's a country that they have developed very close military and economic relations with. To see them come under attack by the U.S., it's going to make it quite difficult for those negotiations to proceed.